Hey, second graders. So for today's reading, we are going to read The Night Artist. But before we read, I want us to think about the author's purpose. Author is the person who is writing the story or the person who wrote the book. And purpose, what is his goal? Why did he write this? And it says author's purpose is as easy as pie. P-I-E, like a pie. And here you see there's pi, and it has the letter P-I-E. And each letter represents a type of purpose that somebody might write a story. So did the author write a story to try to persuade you? Is the author trying to get you to believe or to do something? He's trying to tell you that maybe you should think broccoli is the best fruit ever, or he's trying to persuade you to do something or believe in something. That's the P, that is to persuade. Another purpose that the author can have is with the I, inform. So when the author is informing you about something, he is giving you information about a topic. And normally we see this type of purpose or this type of goal when we are reading nonfiction, when we're reading about true stories, when we're reading about true history or even science facts, when you read about, cheetahs, all that information is to inform you. The author who wrote that book wants to tell you about something. Maybe he wants to tell you about cheetahs, or he wants to tell you all about race cars. He's informing you. The last purpose, the E, is to entertain. So the author is trying to hold your attention by telling a story. He wants you to enjoy the story, whether it's a happy story or it's a scary story. He's entertaining you. He's trying to hold your attention. So as you see here, there are three types of purposes that an author might have when he's writing. He might want to persuade you, inform you, and entertain. So as we read The Night Artist, I want you to keep that in mind. P-I-E, pie. Is he trying to persuade us, inform us, or entertain? Before we read, we normally go over the words up here, so let's do that. This word is perfectly. This one is beautiful. This word is sketch. This word is night. This word is quiet. And this word is dear. All right. As I'm reading, I want you guys to think and create a picture in your head about the story. The Night Artist. Macy tiptoed through the cabin as quiet as a mouse. She didn't want to wake anyone up. She silently got dressed, picked up her sketch pad, and slipped outside. It was cooler than she expected, and quieter, and darker. It was hard to even see the trees in front of the cabin, which just looked like shadows. Macy crept along the porch to the bench and sat down quietly. Everything seemed a bit spooky, and Macy felt a little nervous. She wasn't used to being outside at night, alone in the dark. Macy thought about going back inside, but she decided not to. Her dad had told her that many wild animals only come out at night, and she wanted to see them. She wanted to see the animals and sketch them. Now, sketch means to draw. She wants to draw them. Macy waited in the quiet of the night. She could hear the wind softly rustling the leaves in the trees. An owl hooted in the distance. After a while, she could see better. Up in the sky, a full moon shone down at her, and she could see thousands of stars. The owl hooted again. Macy liked the owl sound, and she started to relax more. She started to sketch the moon. After a little while, Macy heard a rustling in the bushes. She could feel the excitement rise in her, as well as a little fear. She reminded herself to be calm and not run if it was a bear. It wasn't a bear. A beautiful doe stepped out of the shadows and into the light of the full moon. The doe was only 20 feet away. Macy gasped. She has never been this close to a wild animal before. You're so beautiful, she whispered. The deer's head spun and stared at Macy. The deer stood perfectly still. Macy sat perfectly still. The deer stared at Macy. Macy stared at the deer. Finally, the deer decided that Macy wasn't dangerous and started to eat the grass. Macy very carefully and slowly picked up her pad and started to sketch the deer. She drew the deer's long neck and legs. She drew the spots on the doe's tan and white fur. She drew the deer's dark eyes and big ears. A couple of times the deer looked up at Macy. Each time Macy stopped drawing and sat perfectly still. She didn't want to scare the deer away. After a few seconds, the deer always went back to eating grass. Just as Macy was finishing her sketch, the doe silently slipped away into the bushes. Macy picked up her pad and went back inside the cabin. Everyone else was still sleeping. Macy knew she should go to sleep, but she was too excited. She looked at her sketch. She felt very special. She had truly connected with nature.